It is so beautiful here, but I get sick to my stomach when I drive into Mooresville and I see that plant and I look at the lake. That scares me. When I see kids swimming in it, it scares me. I wish I knew what I know now, because I never would have moved in this house and moved to Mooresville and moved to Lake Norman.
Each year, around 1,000 cancer clusters are reported to state health departments, but few are ever recognized. In North Carolina, residents from an affluent neighborhood 30 miles from Charlotte believe they're experiencing elevated levels of thyroid cancer.
When my daughter got sick, we didn't know she had cancer because the doctors thought, oh, it's probably hormones, it's, a teenage girl issues. And then that lump appeared and they blew it off for about 9 months saying it was a swollen gland. And then I went for the scan and 7 weeks into testing, she had thyroid cancer.
Susan's daughter, Taylor, was 16 when she was diagnosed 2 years ago.
Then people were knocking on my door and calling me and using social media to contact me and start telling me that my neighbors had thyroid cancer and that other kids had thyroid cancer. Susan's daughter had thyroid cancer. Susan and I connected right away, and I connected with probably over 100 other people with thyroid cancer who either lived here or live here now.
I have a very rare form of cancer, and mine is stable right now, which I'm very thankful for, but it's just heartbreaking to hear of all these people, even in my own neighborhood since then, that have gotten cancer.
2 kids at the high school our kids went to died. One had brain cancer and one had a bone cancer.
Between 2012 and 2016, there were 21.8 thyroid cancer cases per 100,000 people in Iredell County, nearly double the state average. Susan Wind is worried that coal ash might be responsible. Duke Energy's coal plant, the Marshall Steam Station, has been operating on the edge of Lake Norman since 1965.
When we moved up here, I remember the kids were like, what is that, a cloud maker? That's what all the kids say. It's a cloud maker.
There's no surprises to the people who are from here that Mooresville was built on coal ash. But it wasn't until Susan brought this data forward and said, look, nobody's doing anything about this. There's no factual scientific linkage today between coal ash and thyroid cancer, but the correlation between the two, I don't think you have to be a scientist to say, hey, there's something not right here.
It's become very political. You have a lot of controversy with Duke Energy because they will go on the record saying that it's safe. So it's become kind of a sensitive topic, I guess you could say.
There are decades of data and research by Duke Energy and by outside folks that tell us that the groundwater and the surface water and the air around Marshall Steam Station are absolutely safe.
Previous government studies have not linked coal ash to significant radioactive elements. Yet a 2015 university study sampled the 3 largest coal basins in the U.S. and found radioactivity levels 5 times higher than normal soil. That study did not test the coal ash near Lake Norman.
Coal ash is safely managed the way that we manage it in our facilities, and it's safe the way that humans come into contact with it.
There are some radioactive constituents in coal ash. It's naturally occurring. They're also present in soils. So we're exposed to these constituents, whether they're radioactive or not, every day when we're outside exposed to soil. So that's an important point to keep in mind. You'd have to have a lot of exposure. We have people who've worked in the utility industry with coal ash for years and years and years. And we don't see, even with these workers, adverse health effects. There's no information that links coal ash constituents to thyroid cancer.
Susan's daughter's cancer is now in remission. But that hasn't stopped Susan from continuing to look for potential causes. She raised more than $100,000 to pay for a study analyzing soil and water samples around Mooresville.
The majority of this community does not think there's a problem. I think even with the study I launched, there will be people that will say, well, it could be this. I mean, I think people don't want to believe anything's wrong, and they'd rather argue it than say, let's get to the bottom of it. But now if their kid got cancer, they would change their tune.
Health officials in North Carolina have not designated the area as a cancer cluster.
I don't need anyone else to prove to me or not prove to me. It is not safe. And that's why I'm leaving. Are you gonna start bringing stuff down from upstairs? Yes. Okay.
Though Susan's study is still underway and no link between thyroid cancer and coal ash has been determined, the Wynn family has decided to move to Florida.
I have guilt that I even moved my family here. My kids are leaving their friends, our house, my friends. It's a tragedy. All right, bye guys, be safe. Thank you for everything. Thank you. Love you too. You'll come visit.